It's finally time to tackle the last movie special made for Ever After High. Unfortunately, earlier this year, Netflix decided to wipe their Ever After High stuff off of their streaming service, which, I don't know, seems incredibly counterproductive towards the idea of having a streaming service where you should be able to archive all of your old stuff, but whatever, I guess. You can still find all of them on the Internet Archive though, but the quality is a bit grainier than usual, so sorry if my footage looks a bit rough here or there. Man, we truly are barreling towards the end of my Ever After High reviews now. That sucks. I really love this show, and I love talking about it. So, epic winter. A fun change of pace, right? We've had spring, we've had sun, we've had scares, a snow-themed adventure is a cool new idea to explore. Now, I know what you're thinking. What could this special possibly be about now that Apple and Raven have stopped the evil queen? Dragon Games really was the big grand finale for the two main girls. How do you follow that up? Well, actually, Apple and Raven aren't our main focus this time around. Honestly, they're barely even in the movie at all. Maybe 5 lines of dialogue between the two of them. On one hand, a bit of a bummer. I really like Raven and Apple. I think they're fun, but also it makes so much sense. Now that they've kind of wrapped up their plotline, we can play around with developing some of our other characters. A fantastic opportunity. Ever After High has so many super fun characters that I would love to see develop more. Cerise with her tricky family drama, Darling with her double life as the White Knight. The books have given us awesome looks at some of the other girls with how interesting their stories can be. This will be great. Who do we get to focus on for this story?
Crystal, if you're going to rule one day.
Who? Fine. Mattel was huge in making tons and tons of new characters to make new dolls for them. Classic Monster High especially did this a lot with its last few seasons and episodes. So, I guess it's fine we decided to make a whole new character to focus on for this movie, rather than just use one of our established girls. Crystal Winter. Wait a minute. This special came out in 2016. That means it was just a few years after Let it go! Let it go! Yeah, this is what they landed on. It's not surprising, I guess. Frozen was a massive moneymaker. It took the world by storm. It was impossible to escape it for years after it had come out. It's no wonder Mattel thought they could also capitalize off of the newfound success of the Snow Queen fairy tale. Though, just like with Frozen, Crystal and her family have really nothing in common with that original story. Quite frankly, she could have just been the daughter of Santa Claus, and nothing would have been any different.
Snow, nice to be back. A little winter break is snow awesome. Life is snow unfair.
Yeah, all these snow puns are real low-hanging fruit, huh? It doesn't stay this over the top for too long, thankfully. After the 4th snow good, I was starting to get sick of it. Crystal has, blue skin, and her parents have warmer, realistic skin tones. Why not just make them all match her? The inconsistency is weird and bothers me.
Northwind, hand me our secret weapon.
What's the next move, Jackie?
These two funny little frost elves are Jackie and Northwind, twin children of Jack Frost. They'll also be our main villains this time around. They don't like how Crystal's family treats winter like it's all playtime. They want winter to be cold and cruddy, because that's what it is. I hate winter. I hate the cold. So the two have stolen a bit of evil glass dust from when Apple busted the evil queen out of the mirror prison, and then, dumps it into his,
You're acting like a spoiled brat!
Ew, glass in your eye. Ew, no, that's dangerous. So Jackie, the brains of this operation, has corrupted the Snow King, so he thinks everyone is mean and terrible, and it makes him angry and evil. Crystal doesn't know what to do, so she goes to Ever After High to get help from her old friends, Briar and Ashlyn. It's so great to be back together. Have you told everyone all about me? Not really. In fact, I don't think we've ever mentioned you at all before. But we're old friends, though. I don't know, Crystal. We had a lot of other things going on. Like what? Just a lot of stuff.
You know know a lot about curses, right? What? Why? Who said anything about a curse?
I would pay so much money to see the misadventures of who Madame Yaga is cursing and why. Underrated character, for sure.
Bring your father to me.
Now we just have to figure out how to get my mom or dad to come to Ever After High.
Wouldn't it be way easier to take Madame Yaga to him? Also, you know what they end up doing? They throw an impromptu career day event where everyone's parents shows up. That sounds like so much more work and would take so much more time to plan and pull off than just taking Madame Yaga to Crystal's castle. Anyway, it was kinda pointless bringing him over anyways, because all he does is set off a gigantic winter storm that covers the entire land. Fortunately, they do have a plan.
A counter curse, but the last known copy was in the Library of Elders.
Wasn't that all, like, totally destroyed 1,000 years ago by the giants at Beanstalk High?
So Ever After High got a sweet paycheck from that lawsuit, I bet. No wonder there's TV monitors everywhere. The girls discover that in order to reverse the curse, they need to find 4 special roses, representing the 4 seasons in 4 different castles. One is at Rosabella's house, one is at Cinderella's, one is at Briar's, and oh no! They don't have time to see where the winter rose is. It sure is a big ol' mystery. Who might have the winter-themed rose at their palace? So, we have our quest, but it's not just the princesses going on this trip. While all of this has been happening, there's been some subplots burbling in the background. First, Daring is devastated he doesn't seem to be Apple's Prince Charming after their revelation in Dragon Games last time. He ends up pissing off the Snow King, who casts a spell that turns him into a wintry beast. Hoping the king will reverse this spell, Daring joins the team as the only boy going on the adventure. How fun. Second, Fabel. As punishment for teaming up with Evelyn and almost destroying the school, Headmaster Grimm gives her the punishment of cleaning the school. She really got off easy, I'd say. I figured, like, jail was gonna be her main option. Unfortunately, Fabel doesn't want to clean the whole school, especially after the winter storm kicks in. So she hires the actual fairy mob to help her.
We solve your problem, you owe us.
Deal.
You could have given me 1,000 years, and I never would have guessed this was going to be a thing in Ever After High. Turns out, now she owes the mob like 200 years of service as payment. So she goes on the quest to try to steal the magical roses and use them as payment to clear her debts. Third, Blondie. I don't know, she just kind of wanted to do something.
Kind of story? And win reporters a princess and the Peabody Award!
Sure, why not? It's been a while since Blondie got to do something cool anyways. Alright team, on to adventure!
You wouldn't survive a day in this blizzard wearing those rags.
Their big outfit change for this special is probably the most grounded one we've ever gotten. Usually there's like a whole setup or a magical transformation that gives it gravitas to the whole thing, but this time it's pretty straightforward. I appreciate it actually. First things first, the Rose of Spring at Rosabella's castle. So when we first laid out our plans to go kingdom hopping, I got pretty excited. Not only is it fun getting out of the school every now and then, but it sounds like so much fun to see the different castle settings for these different stories. And we get to visit the homes of some of our main characters. Well, unfortunately, neither of these things really ended up panning out. The castle settings all kind of look the same. The only one with really big differences is Briar's because it's covered in roses. But the actual rooms or castle features are all kind of generic. On top of that, we don't get to see any of the parents or family or anyone at any of these locations either. It almost looks like the girls are traveling to various ghost towns. Like when you watch ghost hunting YouTube videos and they all go to abandoned buildings. Briar would love ghost hunting, let's be honest. It feels weird too, like with them visiting the girls' own homes, and then there was that whole career day stuff at the start. I wonder if initially there was going to be bigger plans to include everyone's parents showing up in one way or another. I don't know if they knew this was going to be their last special, but it would have been a big grand finale kind of thing to see all the classic fairy tale parents of old for our cast. However, I think I can also kind of guess why they decided to not include the families on this rose gathering quest. Ever since Spring Unsprung, the specials have all heavily focused on at least one of the parents of the characters playing some sort of major role in one way or another. Maybe they felt like using the parents had gotten kind of tired by this point. Anyways, one simple cheer from Fabel and we already have our first rose. Well, that was easy. Aren't there supposed to be like villains in this story who'll add obstacles to our character's quest.
Little goody two-skates trying to save her parents.
So Jackie's initial plan was to make the king evil so they'd have an excuse to overthrow him without just looking like usurpers, but then they got scared of him because I guess he's stronger than they realized, so instead they just kind of get in Crystal's way a bit.
We were trying to escape the terrible anger of the Snow King.
Oh my goodness, I knew they were frost elves, but I didn't realize they were so small compared to the human characters. Oh, so cute. Real talk, I love Jackie and Northwind. I think they are a lot of fun, and I love their designs. All of the designs in this one are pretty top tier, actually. I like the way Jackie's hair is styled, and the super long cap is a fun accessory. The girls' winter attire is also fun. Special shout out to this color of pink for Briar's lipstick. She really pulls it off. And the adorable bear hoodie Blondie's got, 10 out of 10. Jackie tricks them, then immediately reveals she's the villain, like, a minute later. Like, go girl, I guess. But I think you could have held up the ruse a little bit longer.
Little miss can't even lace her own skates? You're clueless without your servants to do things for you.
Yeah, that's an odd little subplot. The idea that Crystal relies so much on her servants that she can't even tie her own shoes.
It's high time you lace your own skates.
But we have pixies for that.
No wonder those other pixies were hiding in the forest, am I right? Aw, shucks. Jackie and Northwind caused an avalanche and has blocked their path. Come on, Crystal. How are you gonna get the squad out of this one?
I have an even better idea.
Is that a fucking gun? Homegirl can't tie her shoes, but she can wield a 6-shooter? Yeah, I know it just shoots ice and snow, but those ice shards are dangerous even when they're not being shot out at high speeds. I can't believe Mattel gave a princess a gun. That's insane to me. It's cool, don't get me wrong. I'm amazed. Between the guns and the mob fairies, this special really is full of surprises. They get to Cinderella's and are like, OMG, the summer rose must be disguised as something. It could literally be anything. It'll be so difficult to figure out what it is.
The enchanted pumpkin from my story. But what's it doing here?
Or, I guess, it can be the gigantic, obvious, out-of-place, easy-to-spot thing instead. Off to Briar's place now, I guess.
Sleeping Beauty is about more than sleep. And a wicked, awesome villain, if I do say so myself.
It's fun seeing Fabelle and Briar interacting a bit more. Admittedly, it's not that much in the long run, but it's cool when the characters from the same stories talk about their shared destinies. It also makes Rosabella and Daring's burbling romance really fun too, but I'll talk more about Daring a little bit later. Oh no, our path is blocked. Well, it's nothing Crystal can't handle thanks to her gun. They got the Rose of Autumn! Hooray! But oh no, Jackie uses the magic of the enchanted spindle to make them all fall asleep. And you know what that means? Music video time! Something about cartoon movies' music videos are just more fun. Like, even if the song isn't good, it's just a fun time, right? Anyways, in her dream, Crystal realizes her mom's wand is the last rose, so what a surprise, it's off to her own castle to get the Rose of Winter. This realization helps Crystal wake up, and she stops the sleepy magic. Sadly, this couldn't be solved by shooting it, however. Meanwhile, the little wicked snow duo uses that same magic to also put the king to sleep, and they pry the staff out of his hands, so it looks like they've succeeded. Except for the fact Jackie doesn't really know how to use the staff yet. Crystal and the squad arrive, but their sled is Crystal and the squad arrive, but their sled is busted.
I've got a powerful idea.
Aw dang, are they gonna do some awesome snowboarding to get to the castle? Oh. No, they just kind of leisurely ski over. Come on, Briar, you should have totally argued to add some more extreme fun with snowboarding here.
A stolen destiny will never give you a happily ever after.
I think Courtly Jester would argue with you on that. Duchess Swan too. Now that would be a fun combo of characters altogether. Though I am just now realizing how often Ever After High uses this premise for their antagonists. Huh.
Well, I can be a big deal too! Now it's time to Story.
Oh no, how will Crystal stop Jackie without her powers? Oh, her pixie servants just give her the wand back, and then she uses her powers to stop Jackie. Well, that was a tad anticlimactic. Crystal had a whole speech about how she didn't want to use her powers.
You know, I have no powers. I stand before you, humbly, to ask you to turn back.
I was expecting her to realize she doesn't have to rely on them to solve her problems, but no.
She can't just magic her way out of everything.
Also, not gonna lie, I think her gun would have put a stop to Jackie a lot sooner.
Sorry, gang.
Uh-oh, Faybelle is here to goof things up right at the end. Remember, she's stealing the roses to pay off the fairy mob. Yeah, that's like the actual finale of the special, which is weird. It kinda takes away Crystal's thunder. So we go back to the school, and Faybelle tries to trade the roses to the fairy mob, but Daring saves the day by instead offering himself up to take on Faybelle's workload. But turns out, if someone offers to take on the work in someone else's place, it cancels out the contract.
This contract is void.
You're off the hook.
Hooray! Faybelle is no longer indebted to the mob! And since Daring proved he can care for someone other than himself, the beast transformation reverses. Hooray! Daring has learned to appreciate his new destiny and has grown as a person. And Blondie, well, I mean, she had fun. Cool. So, what can I say about Epic Winter? No, really, what is there to say? If you've been watching my reviews, you know my personal least favorite movie for EAH is Way Too Wonderland, and yeah, that is still true. I think they wasted the opportunity to play with the setting, the story was convoluted and seemed to forget about its own lore at times. Narratively, it was a bit of a mess, but overall, I could not call that special boring. Epic Winter, however, well, yeah, it was a bit boring, because nothing really happens. It really feels like they struggled to fill the runtime with this one. It's awfully plotting. Each special is actually 4 episodes that are stitched together, but the gang don't even leave the school for their adventure until the very end of the 2nd episode. Yeah, once we're already halfway done with the story, they're only just actually starting it. And you can tell they seem to struggle to fill screen time because every obstacle they come across is really minor. They solve their problems right away, and finding the roses is never— my nail is chipped. What the heck? When did that happen? They solve their problems right away, and finding the roses is never actually a challenge. There wasn't a ton of character development this time either, which is crazy considering how many characters actually go on the journey this time. If I'm being honest, Briar, Ashlyn, and Blondie really didn't add much of anything to the film, which sucks. I like them a lot, but they kinda just bogged things down a bit. The development with Faybelle's mob fairy story, Daring learning to be considerate thanks to Rosabella, and Crystal's whole major plotline are the actually meaningful moments. I wish they just had more time to flesh those moments out a bit more. Though I admit, the fact both Daring and Faybelle's plot points get wrapped up in seconds right at the very end was a bit of a bummer. Daring especially. I really like the idea of having him be the beast, and I wish he had gotten to stay that way. Explore this new side of him discovering what his fairy tale is. The specials have shaken up the status quo before, so the fact this one just resets everything back to how it was at the start makes the whole thing feel a little pointless. Faybelle is off the hook, Daring is back to normal, and Crystal resumes her position as Ice Princess. On that note, Crystal. I think it was a mistake making a brand new character to be the main focus for this story. It's hard to get invested much in Crystal as a character. She doesn't really change too much over the course of the story. She makes a big ol' speech about wanting to make winter good for everyone, but she was already dedicated to doing that at the beginning.
But I am ready to rule. I've read every magical meteorological manifesto.
There's a difference between understanding and doing.
Going out into the world and really doing things was the main thing she had to do to grow, but she doesn't really seem to struggle with any of this. Maybe if Crystal was like a shut-in, like a quiet, nervous wallflower, it would have worked better. Or if Crystal was kind of snobby and ignorant. Jackie does keep calling her the pampered princess all movie, but because Crystal starts the story already kind, caring, and confident, it doesn't really feel like she's grown that much by the end of the story. The most they do is that one weakness of her not knowing how to tie her shoes, but all that kind of amounts to is having her trip over herself during the climax. Like, yeah, I get it, she can't tie her shoes, but this is not enough of a character flaw to facilitate her growth. Also, I know I already touched on it before, but the fact this is nothing like the classic fairy tale is also disappointing. I mean, hell, the Snow Queen is frozen out of the story instantly, and she's the name of the fairy tale. And instead, it's a lot of the Snow King being angry, but he doesn't even end up being our villain in the long run. It's Jackie in North Wind. Maybe the lack of a real antagonist is kind of the core problem with this story and its plot progression. Jackie and North Wind don't really do much to stop the gang, and it's not like they're doing much to stop the Snow King either. On the whole, it's hard to really feel like much actually happened in this movie, but there are some highlights. Like, Jackie and North Wind are a lot of fun. They ended up stealing every scene they were a part of. I love their dynamic, I think they're fun and funny, their shape-shifting powers are cool and got used in unique ways. Maybe that's why I'm upset, because I feel like we could have done a lot more with them, because I like them a lot. In the end, I would say Epic Winter is fun and fine. Maybe it's just because it's hot off the heels of Dragon Games, which really went crazy. Dragon Games went all out with the story and characters. It was always going to be a hard act to follow. Or maybe because by 2016, everyone already had Frozen fatigue, so playing around with the Snow Queen more wasn't really a very exciting idea right from the get-go. But yeah, this was the last special for Ever After High. All that's left to cover is season 4. So I hope I'll see you next time to see the story continue to unfold.
I don't want to hear any of that Dan confirmed as furry. That's hot. No matter I don't care if you're in it. That's just hot.
I'll stop you. You? Little Miss can't even lace her own skate?
I'm going to shoot her with my gun.
Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Andrew, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Genital War Thunder, Jake, Amber, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Messiah, Jacob, Ben Sketchbook, Rain, Trash, Wild Pilot, Juan, Bunkin Duncan, Hoodie Angel, Ranger, Sean, Primaroon, Lavaros, Plague, Tyrene, Thanos, Pandemonium, Peter, Aguirre, Eden, Doki Pokey, Moon of Blues, Zappy, Wolfgang, Philip, Mac and Cheese, Lollaroni, Marie Fan, Davy, James, Salty Goat, Nerf Ned, and Video Gamer. So what did you think? Now that I've covered all of the movies from Ever After High, which one's your favorite? It's hard to pick. I like a lot of them. I like a lot of like the little specials too. Like Throne Coming is still fantastic. It sucks it's not on Netflix anymore. That's such a bummer. And you can't like find like DVD copies of these movies anywhere either. But what did you think? What did you think of this one? I thought this one was fine. Like it was a weird change of pace. I appreciated it. I feel like it wasn't as bad as some of the others, that's for sure. But what did you think? What do you think of Crystal? What do you think of any of the outfits? I think the outfits were really good in this one. Any and all thoughts and opinions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one to do the finale of Ever After High, which is gonna be crazy. See ya, bye-bye.